In the shadowy streets of New York City, a new hero emerges. Mark Spector, a former mercenary. As Moon Knight, he becomes the Fist of Vengeance, delivering justice under the cover of darkness. Moon Knight is a duelist hero in Marvel Rivals. Bathed in a luminous aura that pierces the night, Moon Knight glides through the city, ready to sear his enemies with his master's sacred Ankhs. His Crescent Dart, a unique projectile, bounces between enemies, dealing damage with each hit. Let's dive into Moon Knight's abilities. Crescent Dart. Unleash Crescent Darts forward that can bounce between enemies and Ankhs, dealing damage to enemies. This ability is a triple shot that fires in a straight trajectory, dealing 25 damage per round. It has an ammo capacity of 30 and a fire rate of 0.05 seconds between shots and 0.57 seconds between rounds of shooting. Crescent Dart has a critical hit capability and a damage fall-off that begins at 30 meters, decreasing to 50% at 50 meters, with a minus 20% per bounce. The maximum bounce distance is 7 meters, and it can bounce up to 3 times. Hand of Khonshu. Open a portal that allows Khonshu to bombard enemies with his talons. This ability creates a delayed spherical spell field that deals 75 damage per hit. The duration of the spell field is 3 seconds, with a range of 8 meters in radius and 5 meters for the projectile explosion. The ability can hit enemies up to 14 times, with an ability delay of 1.5 seconds. The energy cost for Hand of Khonshu is 2,800. Night Glider. Hold Shift to glide. This ability allows Moon Knight to glide through the air, providing him with high mobility and the ability to traverse the battlefield quickly. The movement speed while gliding is 8.7 meters per second horizontally and 1.5 meters per second descending. This ability is particularly useful for repositioning and avoiding enemy attacks. Ancient Ankh. Fire an Ankh to launch up enemies within its radius towards the center. This ability generates a spell field upon impact, dealing 20 damage and pulling enemies towards the center. The projectile speed is 60 meters per second, with a cooldown of 12 seconds. The pull-in range is a 5-meter spherical radius, and the bouncing range is 7 meters. The Ankh can be attached to any surface and will remain there indefinitely until destroyed. A maximum of 2 Ankhs may be active at any time. Moonlight Hook. Launch a frontal grappling hook that pulls Moon Knight towards it. This ability allows Moon Knight to quickly traverse the battlefield, providing high mobility and the ability to reach higher places or escape dangerous situations. The grappling hook has a range of 25 meters and a cooldown of 15 seconds. The maximum distance for Moonlight Hook is 21.5 meters per second, with a movement speed of 120 meters per second. Triple Eclipse. Perform a combo with his truncheon, and the third strike will launch up the enemy hit slightly. This ability is a melee attack with a range of 3 meters. It allows Moon Knight to deal consistent damage in close combat and provides a brief knock-up effect on the third hit, making it useful for disrupting enemies and creating opportunities for follow-up attacks. Rising Leap. Perform a double jump. This ability allows Moon Knight to reach higher places or avoid enemy attacks. The cooldown for Rising Leap is 6 seconds, providing Moon Knight with enhanced mobility and the ability to quickly reposition during combat. Moonblade. Launch forward a Moonblade that can bounce between enemies and Ankhs, dealing damage to enemies. This ability launches a projectile in a straight trajectory, dealing 80 damage. The projectile speed is 120 meters per second, and it has a cooldown of 6 seconds. The Moonblade can bounce up to 3 times between enemies or Ankhs, with a maximum bounce distance of 7 meters. This ability is particularly effective for dealing with multiple enemies in close proximity. Full Moon. Cloak and Dagger can inject light and dark energy into Moon Knight to create a light and dark realm where Moon Knight can become invisible. This ability lasts for 6 seconds and has a cooldown of 30 seconds. The range of the light and dark realm is a 4-meter spherical radius, providing Moon Knight with a tactical advantage by allowing him to move unseen and strike from the shadows. Come to me, my Moon Knight. The ancient voice boomed in the back of Mark Spector's brain, momentarily throwing him off his game. It wasn't as if hearing someone else's words in his head was something new. He'd been sharing the space with multiple personalities for years now, but this wasn't even the enigmatic Mr. Knight. This was the boss.
Love battlefield medicine.
Fear Magneto! I am Groot!
Gary's almost yours!
On your toes. Surrender your strength. From sight.
Help! So cold!
The moon!
Double KO!
Moon Knight is a long-range specialist with exceptional mobility, excelling at dealing conditional damage to multiple enemies grouped together. He has access to a double jump and can glide upon reaching a certain height. Additionally, Moon Knight can use a grappling hook to pull himself towards a location. If aimed directly downwards while on the ground, the grappling hook will slingshot Moon Knight upwards instead.
You're up! Don't get jealous! Spider mode! We are undefeatable!
Our enemies are near.
Time to trade.
I unleash the Vishanti's power! Fear Magneto!
Honestly, how many gods are there?
You've captured more than half of the mission area.
Medicine.
Keep going. You know what these fighters? Look behind you.
Their power. Shadow.
Send Doug here.
On your toes. Here they come. Time to trade. The moon haunts you.
Gary's almost
I never liked you, Loki.
double KO.
Alright, that feels better.
That's 3.
Join Moon Knight in Marvel Rivals. Master his abilities, strategize with your team, and dominate the arena with the power of the moon.